Alrighty, good morning, happy Monday, happy November. We have made it to the 11th month of the year 2020. Holy smokes, we're going to wake up the old iPod. That way we can see what the chat's chatting while we're tying at the bench. Update required, not today. Back to YouTube. Anyways, how's everybody doing this morning? We had a wonderful weekend. It was nice and cold and windy and Halloweeny and all that jazz. Um, One of the things that I wanted to do was to go out and have myself a big old bonfire hanging out in the back since we weren't going to be passing out candy this year. But the winds were too high and I just didn't feel comfortable starting the neighborhood on fire. So, what did we do instead? We just stayed inside and watched movies. Couldn't even tell you what scary movies we watched because we watched them all this weekend. James is in the house. Good morning, James. Good morning. Finally, we are getting all caught up. There we go. See, now we can see the chat. Na 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 na. Anyways, so like most Monday mornings, I like to get down here. We'll do our live stream. We'll tie some flies, and the typical thing that I never really know is exactly what I'm going to tie. I've tied enough flies. I'm to the point where, I feel confident and comfortable that given just a minimal amount of time, I could tie pert near anything with a good book in front of me and good directions and the proper materials and this and that. And every Wednesday I try to teach, a traditional fly or something that can be looked up or looked out for or whatnot. But here Monday mornings, I like to sit down with a cup of coffee. And recently I've been kind of tying Tenkara style flies here on Monday mornings. But, they can be used for anything. What is this targeting? Well, for me, it's targeting a fish. I really don't get into, this fly is for this fish specifically, etc., etc. I believe that imagination is your only limitation. Around here, I'm a warm water fisherman. I don't have trout in my backyard, so I fish for a lot of panfish and stuff. And I don't know. It's hard to say this fly is for that fish. Dewey Jones, good morning from Northwest Wales. Good morning. Interestingly enough, I was trying to visit Wales on a study abroad trip back when I was in college. I was taking a world something course, and our instructor was from Wales, and yeah, it just came down to the financing for it. Just couldn't swing the budget, being the poor college kid at the time. But the group went over, had fun. Castles, they saw castles. They went to the big football stadium there, etc., etc. But we're here to tie some flies. We're here to shoot the whatever and drink coffee and questions, comments, concerned about anything and everything, just shoot it into the comments. Hit me up in the chat. I try to keep my eye open on that. And, for me, I'm just here to have fun, tie flies, and enjoy my Monday morning. Well, for me, it's Monday morning. For Wales, I guess you guys are what? I wish I had a world clock. I wish I had one of those clocks. I need to buy a dozen watches, so I could just have all my watches lined up with the different time zones. Anyways, well, let's slide over to the bench. We'll get our iPod set. And I have come across a material that I have not tied with before. Somebody gave it to me and said, "Hey, Aaron, would you like to tie with this at some point?" And I said, "Sure. Let me see what I can do with that." And guess what? Today This is going to be that day. Let's slide on over to the bench. No, 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 no. So, here we are. And like I said, there's no real planned agenda as far as what we're going to tie or how it's going to end up or anything like that. So, I did want to start with a hook though. Where did I put those? I'm going to start on a size 10 caddis curve hook. And we'll see where we go from there. Usually it takes a couple of iterations to kind of hit the nail on the head, the proverbial nail on the head to see how things are going to end up. But we're going to work our way through this one little bit at a time, and I'm going to just kind of cover the materials as we go along. So we got our Fly Life size 10 caddis curve hook. Na 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 na. These are great hooks. I really like them. And for our thread, a little bit smaller today. We're going to use a 70 denier. Okay. Flat wax thread. I love the wax thread. It's a 6/0 70 denier thereabouts-ish. And we're going to be tying these kind of Tenkara style. I'm not too confident in the language of Tenkara style flies as far as this is called that style, this is called that style. I don't want to misspeak and call it something that it's not, especially since I'm just pulling these out of the thin air. I'm not really trying to replicate anything in particular. 1507. Good afternoon. Well, tomorrow is election day here in the United States. It's going to be interesting, one way or another. It's going to be interesting. I'm always a nervous Nelly. That's just a product of my my combat PTSD, but it is what it is. We'll figure it out. We'll get our way through that. Okay, hackle. What are we going to do for our hackle up front? We're going to do a little hackle wing. And this is emu. The label's no longer on it on the package, but I got, I believe it was a Spirit Creations or something. Oh wait, no, I have its buddy. Here we go. This is a UV2 Emu Feather Black by Spirit River. Got a couple packages of these. I really like tying with emu. I have this fly called the Bugger Poe. Peacock, ostrich, and emu. Oh, it's a nice woolly bugger. So, this is going to be... We're only going to take a couple of turns. We might be able to actually use this one feather for a couple of flies. So I'm just going to trim this right about there-ish. Give myself a little bit of a stem to work on. And I'm going to tie that forward. I don't think it really matters, but we're going to see what happens. There we go. Here we go. All right, so let's just see what happens with our little emu hackle. We're gonna give this just a few turns here. I don't want to go too bananas. It's one of those things. Sparse is nice, right? I'm going to save the rest of that feather for a rainy day. I don't know. Kind of interesting. I think I know what I'm going to do for the next one. Alright, so here's my interesting material that I have come across. Polycrylon. And I got this in a maroon. I've got some in a brown. And kind of a baby blue, robin's egg blue, and a white. But I want to try this stuff. I really, really do. So, how do I want to do this? Let's bring our thread down to the rear. We can go all the way back and all the way down here. I haven't tied with this material yet, so it's all going to be experimental. Alright, I'm going to form myself a dubbing loop way back here, and this is actually going to be my ribbing. Sometimes I like to make little dubbing loops and use that for a rib. Okay, we got our dubbing loop. We'll just set that off to the side. And I suppose we could tie in our little polycrylon, whatever this is. Set that off to the back side. And at least on this first one, I'm just gonna wrap it forward to see what happens, and then lay that ribbing over top of it. We'll take that right up to it. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see how this looks. Okay, it's starting to lay down flat like a floss. I was wondering how this was going to behave. Okay, so it's going to be a flossy type material. It's always interesting when you discover a material. Well, I don't know if it was, can't say I discovered it, but when you tie with a new material that you've never tied with before, individual results may vary. Avoid where prohibited. Not available in all stores. May be known to cause cancer in the state of California. Well, that's pretty slick. I kind of like that maroon and emu. I really like that color. And what's nice is it's on its own little baby spool. And I got my own little baby bobbin holder. Alright. This is going to be our ribbing, so let's just go ahead and spin this forward. And because it's a 70 denier, and because it's been doubled over, and because it's twisted, it actually has some strength behind it. And then we can just work that forward as a ribbing. And that's going to give that just a little bit of added protection. I mean, it's not a metal wire, but it's also not nothing. Alright, I think we're just going to leave it right at that. We'll finish this with a whip finish. I'm going to do that one more time. There we go. That's definitely something. Let's see if we can't zoom in a little bit on that. Give you all a little better look. And zoom in, Johnny 5. Zoom in. There we go. Alright, what do y'all think? I like it. I really like that maroon color. I think it looks pretty. Alright, let's try another one. But I'm going to tie this, yeah, basically the same. Actually, no, I do got to tie it a little bit more straightforward than backwards. We'll set that off to the side. I like that. What do you think? Pretty basic. I like it. And that was on a 10. Let's bump that down one notch. We'll take this down to a 12. Just a wee little bit smaller. I like that caddis curve. I really like our emu. I'm going to give this just a little bit more of a wing. We'll see what happens. Alright, so this is our same hook, size 12 though. We've bumped it from a size 10 to size 12. I need to clean this bench off. It is what they would say in the biz, a hot mess. Alright. 70 denier flat wax thread in the color of black. I was going to say red. Just kidding. We'll start our thread up front. This time I'm going to do the hackle kind of towards the end, but I am going to build a little bit of a head up front first. Alright, we're going to travel all the way down and we'll do our dubbing loop at the rear. And this is just to make that fine ribbing at the end. And we'll give that a couple loops this way. Alright, that's going to be our ribbing. And I wanted to add in, this is the polycrylon. Cut that off. Just going to keep it handy though, because I'm actually going to incorporate this here in a second. Just need a magnet. All right, I'll get you back all the way up. I'm gonna leave a little bit of room up front. We're gonna incorporate some stuff up there. And we'll run this forward. This goes on like a floss, as we've discovered. We'll just take tight wraps, lay a nice smooth little body. And I want to keep the body on this fairly slender. It's kind of typical with the Tenkara style flies. Alright, we'll go ahead and lock you off for now. Alright, that deserves a slurp of coffee. Alright, we want to do our ribbing, so I'm just going to spin it forward. And I'm just going to keep spinning it until it gets to a certain point. If you overspin it, it gets kind of lumpy bumpy. But if you just keep just the right amount of tension, it also will want to just kind of wrap itself around the shank of the hook, which is pretty cool. And by twisting it, we add some strength, just like a wire would. And who doesn't have thread? I do. Okay. So, this is my, I don't need to bring a leech with me. I just need to let's tie this in. You know, that would be a nice little interesting loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trim this once. And we'll just tie that in like so, a couple turns. You know what? We're learning. Alright. Like I said, I've got the same stuff in white. Why don't I use a little bit of this white stuff? We'll give that a try. Sometimes it needs a little help getting out. Alright, so same as before, I do want to kind of combine that, make one little piece. Here we go, I like that, just a little wing. Alright, and we wanted to go with our emu again. course, I lost my piece from earlier. Kind of like there's some different textures of this. There's kind of, if we look real close, we got these nice, almost like a marabou. And then at the tip, it's a little bit different, a little bit spikier. And I think that's kind of what I want to go with this one. Alright, let's try this. Because it's hackle time. We'll see what happens. There's only one way to find out. I don't know. Kinda don't like that. Let's go back to our little softies. Let's take that. We'll tie you in there. And just to help me out, I'm going to use my hackle pliers on this. I don't know. Definitely something. I kind of like that. I like the way that one turned out. Holy smokus, there's sevens. There's sevens of yous watching. Outstanding. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are or whenever you are watching. Thank you for tuning in. I definitely appreciate it. As they say on the other channel, smash that like button, hit that subscribe, don't forget to share and tell your neighbors. I don't know. It only works. Oh yeah, I was going to ask, for my regular viewers, I'm just curious because I don't ever get to see them. I am curious as to what type of advertisements get played on my channel. If advertisements even come up, because they shouldn't. I like that white. I like that white in there. Oop. What was I trying to pick off? This little black spot. There we go. I like that little sack of white back in there. Alright, let's do... I really like this maroon. How do we feel about doing one more? Let's find our hooks. Hooks, 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 hooks. Yeah, we'll stick with the 12s. Seems like a nice round number. Alright, once again, these are size 12s. R7 caddis from our friends at the Fly Life. Premium fly hooks. Alright. And we're going to stick with our black 70 denier, aka the 6/0. Alright, this time we're not going to build our head up front. We're going to... I don't know, how do we want to evolve this? Let's see if we can't tie another one just like that last one. I really like the look of that with that white, that little white wing underneath. I suppose it would behoove me to see how these sink or float, sink or swim. But we'll go all the way back and do our ribbing. And I suppose you could just tie in a wire or whatever you want here at this point, if you wanted. But I found that this thread is pretty economical. I guess what I could do is, let's see. We'll tie this in as well. Alright, I'm going to leave ourselves a little bit room because we're going to go with that kind of that puff ball. Alright, so instead of just wrapping this forward, I'm going to give this a spin forward. We're going to ball this up, see what happens. And we might get some sort of crisscross lattice work. I don't know. Yeah, I like that flat body. So we will unspin and get that to lay flat again. Just a little bit more. All right. We'll take our nice touching wraps. I was going to see if I couldn't get that to rope up and do almost like a braided spiral, but it wasn't working. Alright. Leaving myself plenty of room. Don't crowd the eye. Don't crowd the eye. That's what I keep telling myself. Don't crowd the eye, So I'm trying a new breed of coffee today. I subscribe to this outfit called Hello Fresh. I've been doing Hello Fresh since just before this global pandemic hit us. And I get a few meals every week, which is nice. And it's just raw ingredients to actually cook. It's not pre-cooked food, nothing like that. And it's been pretty swell. And I noticed they have this little section called extras, and you can get desserts and whatnot, or just, extra product of, meat and whatnot. Well, they had a coffee special, and it's just a generic medium roast. That's all right. It's not super fancy, nothing super special. But it was buy one get one free, and when coffee is buy one get one free, you get one, so you can get two. And I always I don't know, I'm a sucker for promotions. You give me a good deal, I'll take advantage of it, or at least give me the illusion of a good deal. So we like that little poly wing. I like that little poly wing. So let's see if we can't do another one. What did I do with that? Here it is. I'm just going to take a little bit of this. And I'm going to give myself just a little bit more by cutting that in half. We'll fold that sucker over and just make a little bubble wing. That's it. That's the wing. It doesn't need to be much more. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I think I saw a little piece somewhere. It wasn't a little piece somewhere, it was a full piece right here. One piece of crystal flash, just a pearl, good old KF9er. Pearl crystal flash. We'll do the same thing. I'll just add that right into there too. Alright, got a little pearl flash, a little crystal flash. Alright, emu. Let's find our emu. How's this feather look? And tie this in by the tip. Alright, let's give that a try. Maybe one more. I don't know. Well, that one broke off. So it'll be a mystery if that one lasts. I don't think my wing got a little bit too big on this one. compared to this first one. See the difference in that wing size? Same size hook, it's just almost twice as big. But I really like the look of that first one. So I think we'll just make one more of those and then we might call it a day. Another sip of coffee. I'll tell you what, this has been really good for me. Every week, every Monday morning, same time, same place, same channel. I do this every week. And what a great way to start a week than sitting down at the bench and tying some flies. And I just enjoy sharing whatever I'm creating with you guys and gals. You know, I'm not looking for anything in return. Just show me some love in the comments. Show me some love in the chat. I always love a little audience participation. I feel like it's been forever and a day since I've actually, sat and taught. It's been since March. March 18th, I believe, was my first COVID stay home status, whatever. And we're getting through it. Mental health is, in my opinion, it's been the biggest challenge. This whole thing. I can stay home. I feel very fortunate. I'm in a position where I can do that. My wife is working from home, which is crisscross awesome sauce. Alright, we're just going to go the same as the first. Because sometimes when you make a slight evolution in your fly patterns, you might decide that, I took a few steps forward, but I actually liked what I started with. So I'm going to go with one more of those. One more of those there. Let's go with our emu. Black emu. I like it. You don't see emu used a lot. It's kind of, I don't know if it's a forgotten material or what. Let's tie that bad boy in right about there. Howdy from Texas. All the way from Yeehaw to You Betcha. Alright. Loop de loop. Oh, we need our loop-o-matic. Straight down. I like it, and we'll get our polycrylene. See, it's not just a L-O-N, it's a L-I-N. Polycrylene. Polycrylene? Anyways, it lays down like a nice floss, which is what we've been working with here this morning. I like it. I I've had this material for a while. I don't know where I acquired it from. It's just one of those things that's been bouncing around in one of my bins, one of my tubs, one of my drawers, whatever you want to call it. And I was, hey, why don't I try something with that? And what a better opportunity than here on a Monday morning live stream morning coffee. Keep the bobbin nice and close. And I'm just taking touching wraps. I mean, I suppose you could do this with any thread or whatever color material you'd want, but I really like this. And before we're done, I am going to give this a little toss into a little water jar just to see. You know, why did I not? I gotta pause there. It felt weird. I'm gonna do my hackle first. Oh boy. Carriages and horses, whatever. We'll just take a few wraps. Maybe one more. And then we can lock you off. It was starting to not make any sense. Because I'm sitting here looking at it, it's like, well, where do I go to? Okay, now we can continue on with this. I think that's going to be us right there. I caught a fish in Texas, my Texas fishing story. Here's my Texas fishing story. A few years ago, I was attending the Elks National Convention in San Antonio. Good old San Antonio. I love San Antonio. That was a great place to visit. If anybody, after this global pandemic, if you ever get near it, go check out San Antonio. Anyways, I saw that the river ran through, and they got that big old fancy boardwalk. And I started looking up, where can I go fishing? And I asked the local police department. I got my fishing license and this and that. And they're like, yeah, you can fish anywhere along up here. It's perfectly legal. We just highly ask that you stay out of everybody's way and just don't be a pain to anybody. So I said, no problem. And the first fish I caught was it was in one of those turnarounds right in front of the San Antonio Convention Center where the boats would turn around. And there weren't any boats back there. It was way back there. And I caught myself a Rio Grande cichlid. First cichlid I ever landed. And I'm using my Tenkara setup. Because I knew I wouldn't have room to fly cast at like a Western fly cast or anything like that. So I brought my Tenkara setup. And I caught myself a Rio Grande cichlid, which is pretty cool. Those are absolutely beautiful fish. I had no idea what it was until, I did some asking around, showing some pictures, and I was like, oh yeah, that'd be a great aquarium tank. Great for the aquarium. Okay. And then I went downriver a little ways, and I caught myself a nice, decent size largemouth bass out of the San Antonio River underneath the Cesar Chavez Memorial Underpass Bridge. How cool was that? And that was it. Oh, the cool thing is they had those little bird scooters or whatever the little rental scooters were. Um, so I threw on my sling pack and scooted down, and did some fishing. So, what do we think? Oh yeah, we're gonna give this a quick little float test. We need our magnet. Get our. We actually have a fly that's been soaking a couple of weeks, so hopefully it won't be too funky. Here we go. Alright, let's get our water ready, and we'll see if that'll just fall in. It won't. Alright, here we go. We're going to give this a little splash test. Get the vise out of the way. And she's a floater. Nope. Ooh. There we go. So, it's not a surface fly. I guess we could add some schmuck to it and see what happens, but I think we'll be alright. Let's grab that. Alright, so I'm just holding on to it with the tweezers, and I don't know, give that sucker some action, and that's going to be fantastic. Alright, well, what do we think, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? I think we did pretty good on that. I really like the first one. Coincidentally enough, it was the first one, and a little bit bigger too. A little bit bigger of a hook. And that was a size 10 hook. Alright. Let's see if we can't beep bop a doop bop. And alright. I think we're gonna wrap it up there. We'll give that a little bump forward. Yeah, if you haven't noticed, we've changed our background a little bit. I moved my laptop from this side over to this side because I'm rearranging my bench. Or not rearranging my bench, but I'm rearranging my room. When we first moved into this house, I was into model trains. I'm an N scale model railroader. And I was into fly tying. And when I first moved into my house, it was probably a 80-20. I was 80% into trains, 20% into fly tying and fly fishing. And then once I got my bench set up, everything just took off from there. I just went full into the fly tying, and my trains just kind of sat there collecting dust, so I didn't take it all completely apart, but I am reducing the size of the layout. It came out earlier to a scale. It was at a scale mile. Figuring scale and whatnot, I had a mile of track laid out. But it's just a matter of evolving and changing and keeping with the times, and doing what makes you happy. So I never want to get rid of my trains, my woo woo trains. But who knows? maybe, hopefully, my plan is to by Christmas time at least having the track powered back up and having the main line up and running. But anyways, we're gonna leave it at that. We're done tying flies. People are bailing. I get it. I get it. We'll hit our transition and carry on with our days. United States, folks, tomorrow is Election Day. I know you've heard it 1,000,000,000 times, but tomorrow is Election Day. Do your civic duty. Get out and vote. One way or another, and that's the thing is I'm not going to sit here and say vote this way, vote that way. That's not my place here right now. But as a military combat veteran, I recognize all that went into securing our votes, etc., etc. I know what it means. Not everybody gets it, so get out there and do that. Stay safe, everybody. These next few weeks, this week in particular, I got a bad feeling. Things are going to get a little squirrely out there, but, stay safe. Stay in your own little bubble. Keep it real. Stay safe, everybody. That's all I can say. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Happy tying. And yeah, sure. You betcha. Tight lines. Peace.